Here is your latest African news update.
Madam President, fellow heads of state and government, Mr. Secretary General, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Madam President, corruption within countries and illicit flow of funds across national boundaries have huge negative impact on the stability, peace, and economic prospect of millions in developing countries. Corruption significantly robs national governments of resources to provide meaningful livelihoods to their populations, who are predominantly youth, thus giving rise to more irregular migration. The fight against corruption, therefore, involves us all. It is in our collective interest to cooperate in tracking illicit financial flows, investigate and prosecute corrupt individuals and entities, and repatriate such funds to their countries of origin. Fighting corruption or resolving international conflicts, crises, and wars, defeating terrorism and piracy, curbing arms trafficking, and the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, which fuel these conflicts, particularly in Africa, stemming irregular migration by addressing its root causes. Madam President, a topical consequence of the current conflicts around the world is the irregular migration of affected people from the Middle East, Afghanistan, and Africa to Europe. Irregular migration entails huge avoidable loss of human lives, puts strain on services in most host countries and communities, and fuels anti-immigrant and racist sentiments in Europe. That is why we welcome the successful conclusion of the negotiations on the first ever global compact for safe, orderly, regular migration, and we look forward to its adoption in Marrakesh later this year. The aim is to protect the rights of migrants worldwide while addressing the concerns of countries of origin, transit, or destination alike. Migration is a constant in human affairs. We in Africa are grateful to countries who treat migrants with compassion and humanity, notably Germany, Italy, and France. Irregular migration is not a consequence of conflicts alone, but of the effects of climate change and lack of opportunities at home. Climate change remains one of the greatest challenges of our time. Very close to us at home, it is our lot in Nigeria, together with our neighbors around the Chad Basin, to live with the climate change consequences of a drastically shrunk Lake Chad, and the parching up of otherwise fertile arable land. This is why we continue to call for a dedicated international engagement to accelerate the recovery efforts in the Lake Chad Basin to address the root causes of the conflicts in the region. What is required is continuous and robust United Nations cooperation with national governments and sub-regional and regional organizations such as the Lake Chad Basin Commission, the Economic Community of West African States, and the African Union to enhance capacity in conflict prevention, conflict management, and peace building. Furthermore, Nigeria has always mobilized the required human and material resources to achieve set United Nations goals, including the recently adopted 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. We are resolute in complementing the efforts and examples of the United Nations to promote gender equality and youth empowerment as necessary pillars for sustainable development. Without these, there can be neither enduring peace nor security. As we set and implement our national policies to achieve these goals, we, in the spirit of international solidarity, will readily cooperate with other nations seeking to achieve similar goals for their own populations to help ensure that no one is left behind I thank you very much for your attention.
Do you have any African news tips? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to get the latest African news.